Okay guys, what's up? This is Spinozilla, and today I have another discussion video on Sonic 06. And here today I'm joined by my friend Jordan once again.
Good, you can finally hear me this time now that you got a different mic.
Well, I got a mic before I was doing that time. Anyway, so about Sonic 06, we're just here to discuss our thoughts and opinions on it, and also just rectify, but like more like just discuss the story of it overall. Because personally, for me, I agree with the fact that Sonic 6 was bad, but I feel like the reason why everyone else thinks it's kind of bad is basically for the wrong reasons. I think like I know there's things wrong with it, but there are also some things that I think are okay with it as well.
Besides the music.
Well, besides the music, because the music is legendary in terms of in terms of Sonic games, it's pretty high. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, and here Jordan, I think, is just going to explain mainly.
I'm going to explain my personal gripes with the game and gripes that most other people would have with it, because Sonic 06 is infamously one of the worst Sonic games, but one of the worst video games in general, alongside games like Superman 64 and Big Rigs. Like, it's just plain bad. It may have good intentions, but that doesn't change the fact that what we got was just pure awful. And we're gonna discuss the biggest issues with this game, revolving around story, characters, and any other things we can think of.
So first off, I want to begin explaining at least my viewpoint of Sonic's storyline, or at least the issues that people see with it. For the most part, the number one issue that most people find with Sonic's storyline is the fact that he's constantly rescuing the princess. Yeah, as far as I can see it, it is a pretty tiring, I guess, objective storyline, and the fact that she gets captured over and over again is pretty annoying. What they could have done though was at least give out a better reason why she gets captured at the very least. But then again, given the fact that she's not really a fighter and stuff, I'd say that, I mean, the fact that Eggman really does I'm just kidding, no, there's no way to justify it. It's pretty bad. But, you know, yeah, Sonic's story is pretty bad overall. We can say that.
Well, just ignoring that, there's a bigger issue than what you presented, and that was the relevance of Sonic's story. Because between three storylines with Sonic, Silver, and Shadow, Sonic has no relevance in the overall aspect of the game. Like, for example, he never meets the game's main villain, Mephiles, at all. Mephiles, in Silver's story, when he tries to convince Silver to go back in time, he shows, like, when he presented Silver the Chaos Emerald, and he showed him a vision, like you see Sonic engulfed in flames, which just somehow on its own convinced Silver that Sonic was the bad guy. Like, why did Mephiles target Sonic specifically? Why was he goading him? Did he have some, like, past grudge against Sonic? Did Sonic do anything to him? But we don't know anything, because, once again, Mephiles and Sonic never interact in this game. He doesn't meet him, he doesn't fight him. Like, the most we get is Mephiles killing Sonic, but then again, Sonic doesn't see it coming because Sonic's an idiot. And all...
Why did Brand... I'm just like...
But, yeah, like, all Sonic is saving Elise from Eggman. That's really it, but that does not contribute to the grand scheme of things. It contributes to nothing. Sonic has no interesting quirks. His story just does not connect with Shadow's or Silver's at all, really. It's more of Shadow and Silver's game than Sonic's, because Sonic's just there as the poster boy, but all in all, this isn't really Sonic's game, and his story is just so generic, and it doesn't fit what the story's trying to do.
Yeah, I personally do agree with that. When you compare the other three stories to Sonic's really just... He's just there. Yeah. Like, he's involved with the other two storylines. As for the fact that... As for the beefy that he doesn't really have Mephiles, I mean, really, the only reason why Mephiles even, like, sends Silver after Sonic is just because, you know...
To kill Sonic.
Just to kill Sonic, or just distract him so that he can... either deal with Shadow, I think, was it? Or...
No, so he could get Elise to cry because apparently Sonic has... But here's the thing, how would Mephiles know that, though? There's no... Because, you know, Sonic... Because, like I said, Mephiles and Sonic never interact at all, so how would he know that Sonic has has a relationship, or at least to the point where if he dies, she would cry for him?
That's true.
Given all that, it's like, it's not ignoring plot, because, like I said, for the longest time, because Mephiles was interacting with mainly Shadow and Silver, especially Shadow throughout the course of the game, so... And yes, I know that Mephiles is from the future mainly, well, from the past and then to the future mainly, given everything, but how does Mephiles, you know... It comes along with the issue about the villain knowing enough to do certain things when he shouldn't have, especially given that, you know, he's first seen in the future where Sonic's not there, obviously. I don't know, it just doesn't make sense from a storyline perspective.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. There's no defending Sonic's story or his involvement in it.
There's nothing wrong with Sonic's story, it's just, it doesn't suit this game.
Yeah.
This would be good if it was a different Sonic game, but considering that you're trying to connect all three storylines together, and it puts all the pieces together, Sonic's is inconsequential. The events of his story doesn't really add up to anything in the grand scheme of things. He doesn't, well, Elise is an outlier though, because of, you know, well, we're gonna get to that later with Silver and Shadow's story, but Sonic does not contribute anything to the story.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about Silver's storyline.
Or not Trunks of the story.
Okay.
So, Silver, he comes from the future, who's accompanied by Blaze for some odd reason. Jesus Christ, they retconned Blaze's story already. In fact, when the game came out, Sonic Rush came out a year before 06, and they already retconned Blaze's backstory. It's like, seriously. They went from Blaze being the queen of another dimension, to just being from the future. It's like, okay, is she from another dimension or from the future? Make up your mind, Sega. But ignoring that, Silver's story, oh my god, Silver is such an idiot. He doesn't question things like he should, and honestly, he doesn't sound like he knows what he's doing.
Well, Blaze does say that he's like so naive and stuff, so that naivety might be why he's just so...
Well, for one thing, he trusts Mephiles outright, which pretty much he's practically looks and his name pretty much almost means the devil, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
And he trusts Mephiles immediately just by showing him a vision in an emerald about Sonic engulfed in flames. They don't even show Sonic doing anything evil or anything, you know what I mean? It's like, how does that lead to Sonic being the bad guy? It's like, it doesn't even show, like, oh, Sonic killed Elise or something, or, you know, or Iblis coming from Sonic, you know what I mean? It's like, they don't show Sonic doing anything. It's like, really, Silver? How dumb can you be? And plus, it's just the general rule of never trusting a guy that looks so evil and insidious.
Well, I mean, I guess it's because Silver's just desperate, you know? Because you really think about it, if you're in an apocalyptic world, you grew up in apocalyptic world, oh my god. In that kind of world, basically, where basically, I don't know how many people have, like, died around.
There's no one left, pretty much. Think of it like Trunks' timeline.
It's basically like that. If you watch Dragon Ball Z, then...
Except lava.
If you watch Dragon Ball Z, then you know what that means, basically, Future Trunks'
Ignoring...
world.
I know the desperation aspect, but that doesn't excuse you throwing all logic and reason out the window. It's like, at least with Trunks, he didn't go back in time without having a plan. Silver just goes back haphazardly, not thinking of the consequences of his actions, because Trunks knew what he was gonna do and what would happen. Silver just trusts a mysterious character who he has no interaction with beforehand, just from pure faith, even though Mephiles provides no substantial evidence of what he says is true at all. It's just ridiculous and stupid. I mean, and even Blaze, even his companion who should know Sonic, but then again doesn't because they retconned their character in this game, which is dumb.
Confusing as well.
Even if Blaze doesn't know Sonic, which for the purposes of this game she doesn't, because she doesn't interact with Sonic either, she should at least give a second opinion, because she just goes along with it. She doesn't question Mephiles at all. She doesn't give Silver another option. She just goes with the flow, which is not in Blaze's character, especially from what's established in Sonic Rush, which is a good game.
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, let's see here. So yeah, it was kind of stupid for Silver to trust Mephiles at all. That part cannot be denied. But again, Silver doesn't even know Mephiles, and I mean, as far as they know, they're total strangers, and It's like
you just see this evil Shadow look-alike character just pop out of nowhere claiming, "I know the key to saving the future."
Silver didn't even know who Shadow was though, at the time. There's that, but also because there's also the fact that it's like Mephiles was the only person to like basically show a means to save the future, and that was by changing the past, and which makes sense though. And given how he really wanted to,
just shows Silver a picture, but Silver doesn't even question anything. He doesn't even question, like, is this really true or something? Like, you would question it at the very least, you know? You can't take it with absolute percent. And also, and I'm gonna save this time travel thing for later, but for one thing, Silver is often just, here, with his power set ignoring the game for a second, he should not have had any trouble trying to kill Sonic. Like, he had him, like, in a forced grip for, like, several times in the story, and yet he didn't kill him. And I know there was intervention in both instances, but Silver had plenty of time.
It's possible that it's just that he hesitated. Like,
or not really much of hesitation, more just like story demands, because Silver was all bent to save the future, and he was completely convinced that Sonic was the key to that, so he was intending on killing Sonic, but he just like took too long. It's like each time, like it's because part of it he was just like monologuing. It's like, you destroyed my world and etc. I have to stop you. It's like, really? Silver, just do your damn job.
And then as far as the Blaze thing goes, though,
Blaze is the best character in the game.
Okay, well, it's like, so as you said, Blaze was retconned. So basically, she wouldn't have any like memory of interacting with Sonic in the first place. If she's from the future now, well, then that means she has no reason to really tell Silver about, oh, hey, Sonic is not really this bad guy. He's just.
I know that, but I'm just saying that Blaze should have at least gave Silver her opinion on this, what she thought, because Blaze doesn't do anything. Like, Blaze is no help to anybody, she's just there as Silver's companion.
Well, her opinion was just that if they don't do anything, then the future will
Yeah,
be
but
the same.
she didn't, like, question her or anything, she didn't give her a possible alternative, she didn't say much of anything.
No.
During that scene when, Mephiles was showing Silver the vision. Like, I'm just saying, Blaze is just a background character, and that's really stupid.
She was relatively useless throughout the whole story, though. I'll give it, that is true. But, yeah, it's like, that just adds on to the reason why it's like, Blaze couldn't really say anything to Silver about, oh, hey, Sonic is not this guy that you should be chasing after, and that she basically probably saw the same thing in Mephiles that Silver saw, just someone who has the means to help them change the future.
Let's go to the scene like near the end of Silver's story, because if you play the game, you know that eventually Silver does side with Sonic, and it's funny that Silver never encounters Mephiles, but then again at that point he's busy with Shadow, obviously.
Yeah.
But like my biggest gripe, and this will go to another thing I'm gonna talk about later, is when Blaze and Silver were stealing Iblis, trying to sail Iblis into Silver with the Chaos Emeralds, and it didn't work. It's like, oh, you have to be a member of the royal family to do it. It's like, then Blaze like, I can do it. It's like, gee, I think it's paying homage to the fact that Blaze is a fire princess. You know, because like she's literally a princess of her own, no, a queen of her own dimension, which has the Soul Emeralds, which is just pretty much Chaos Emeralds with fire elements. And, you know, and what confuses me most with Silver's story is, like, with Blaze in particular, is like, okay, I can't send me to Notre Dimension, and it's like, cause Silver needs to do it, but Silver's like, no, I can't do that to you, you're my best friend. It's like, oh, now they're friends. And then she just evaporates and disappears, like, so, did you need him to send you to another dimension or not?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, didn't even think about it like
it's
that.
Like, really? So, you just disappear.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, wait, is she dead, or did she just go to the dimension?
I say she just got written off the story because we know she's too awesome, and plus she did not do anything in the story. And she doesn't come back either in the last story events either.
Nope.
The only good character in this game does not show up again. You only play as Blaze twice, for the record.
In my opinion, Shadow is the better character, but I'll explain that when we get to him.
Are we talking about gameplay or story?
Well, a little bit of both. But
No,
mostly story, though.
No, okay, gameplay, hell no. Shadow is too combat oriented and he's goddamn too precise, for Christ's sakes.
Right. I mean, back to Silver. I mean, overall though,
his story is one note, and lots of the things that happen as a result from Silver not using good judgment.
The worst thing about this is that, and I'll talk about this later, but in Generations, the fact that you see Crisis City back and you find Silver
Okay,
in Crisis
I'm
City,
gonna stop you there. Generations is a dumb retcon thing of what happened in 06, and that should not have happened. Oops.
What I was gonna say though is the fact that if that's the case, that typically means that Silver has to go through all of that again. So,
let's ignore Generations because that's its own thing. Because that came out years later, and that doesn't contribute much to the 06 lore. Because the 06 lore is gone by this point.
No, it's mostly, yeah.
And honestly, the boss fight that happened in that game was better than the boss fight we got in this game. Okay, I'm starting this thing off with Shadow Story, and oh my god, it's like the most complicated story of all three easily, because Shadow has the most character. For one thing, I know people are gonna say this, one, at the opening cinematic when Shadow's going to rescue Rouge from Eggman's base, we see that Shadow's working with guns, like, damn, when Shadow let go of his past at the end of his game, he really meant it, because he's working for a gun now. It's like, apparently the organization that killed Maria and nearly got the world extinct and all that stuff.
And ruined his life for basically the
50 years.
50 years.
Well, I can see why he would join it, mainly because of Rouge, mainly, or more like he has nothing better to do.
Or because they are the people who are defending the Earth now, and that was his promise.
Even though Gun doesn't do anything. And they were the primary antagonists. But with Shadow Story, it is super complex, and I'm just gonna say this now, because I'm gonna have to mention this anyway, was when Silver and Shadow time traveled to the past and encountered the Duke of Soliana, and they were each going after Iblis and Mephiles, with Shadow going after Mephiles.
I got a good counter for that, but continue, go ahead.
Okay. Near the end of that part of the story, when Shadow seals Mephiles and the what do they call it?
The Scepter of Darkness.
Scepter of Darkness, and Mephiles says he's gonna kill Shadow one day, and that happens like 50 plus years later.
That was like 10 years.
Well, no, because remember he time traveled back.
Yeah, 10 years.
No, but no, it wasn't 10 years because you have to factor this in. Shadow was already gone. Was still. Here's a big plot hole then. Considering that in the main game before this, when the Scepter of Darkness breaks the first time and Mephiles encounters Shadow the first time in the story canonically, Mephiles comments how it was ironic that Shadow freed him, meaning that Mephiles knows who Shadow is, but Shadow does not know who Mephiles is. Then that means that Shadow was destined from the beginning to go back in time and seal Mephiles. But here's the problem. Shadow could not have possibly done that outside of the events of this game. Right. Because you know why? Shadow was still frozen on Prison Island. So that means that at one point, Shadow got out of his stasis chamber on Prison Island, went to Soliana, conveniently helped the Duke seal Mephiles in, went back to Prison Island, and went back into stasis until the events of Adventure 2. But here's the thing, that cannot have happened in any way. That makes zero sense. There's no way that would happen. That creates a paradox effect as it is. Ignoring the paradox effect for a second, Mephiles should not know who Shadow is, but yet he knows who Shadow is because of Shadow time traveling. But Shadow should not have been able to time travel in the first place. And also, for the whole time, Mephiles tries. I remember when Shadow refused to go back in time when they were in Silver's future. When Mephiles tried to convince Shadow to join him because the humanity would blame Shadow for the events of Iblis.
Yeah.
I know Shadow didn't go along this, but that was a stupid way to convince him because it was clearly obvious Mephiles destroyed the world and not Shadow. I mean, I don't think Shadow created a molten lava world, you know. Why would they blame Shadow? And obviously, because they would obviously see that that Iblis did it. So why would they blame Shadow? That makes zero sense.
I got something for that too, but I'll let you continue to hear that.
He's like trying to tempt him with the dark side. Of course, Shadow doesn't accept it because he's like the only smart character in this entire story.
And he's been through that shit already in the previous game.
He just went through a game of trying to be trying to figure out his identity, where he stands. It's like in the end, he doesn't care what humanity does. He's just gonna do what he always does, and if the world's gonna become his enemy, then so be it. So like that's what I love about Shadow. He doesn't give a crap about what anyone thinks. It's like
if the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have. That is one of the best quotes he's ever said.
I love when Shadow takes off his inhibitor rings for the first time in forever.
I know, right? That was only a thing in Sonic X until that point.
Well, Sonic X sucks. That's its own thing.
But they did have that inhibitor ring enhanced thing.
Just to go off a tangent for a minute, I find it funny that how in the Archie Sonic or the Ultimate Universe they established that all the Sonic characters are from Mobius, a separate place, but in any other continuity, Mobius doesn't exist and they're just there on Earth for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. It's like, and it's also confusing because in this game you see like animals, right, normal animals, but then you see like Sonic and the gang, and it's like, how come there's some normal animals and there's Sonic characters, that are practically animals? It's like, they should have established Mobius in the video game continuity, because they established Angel Island, for Christ's sakes.
That is true.
They don't establish Mobius, because that's where they are from in the Archie and the Ultimate Universe, which is pretty much the comics, essentially, because that's where all the Sonic characters are from. Heck, even Sonic X establishes that they're not from, Earth. They're from another place. Even though we don't see Mobius, at least they established they're not from Earth exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm practically done with Shadow's story as far as I can think of, because the rest of the things I'm thinking of is a gameplay perspective, so I'll save that.
Okay, so what was the last thing you said before you went on this tangent?
I was talking about
how
Shadow time traveling and him and Mephiles knowing him even though he shouldn't have.
Let me answer that because I was doing that last. Oh yeah, you're talking about how they blame Shadow for destroying the world.
But, yeah, when it was provided that fake illusion of that.
Okay. So, you wouldn't know this, but there's this guy called Shadow759, and he basically he's doing this video. I forgot what it's called, this video series. But basically, he's basically making this story that basically explains some of the plot holes in Sonic 06. And one of the things that he showed was basically
Is it canon or is it just theory?
Well, I mean, it's basically like his take on like some of the things that will fill in the holes that are involved in that. And one of the things he basically shows is why some people would blame Shadow for this mess. And you know how Mephiles looks like Shadow when he takes his horn?
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there for a second there. That's the reason why Sonic got captured and was hunted by Gun in Adventure 2, is because he conveniently looks like Shadow. But here's the thing, Mephiles is a manipulator.
Yes.
He's not gonna do things face front. He's gonna get people to do things for him.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing though. It's not like he wanted to do it. That was just intentional. What happened was, basically there was an explosion thing or whatever, and Mephiles and I think Sonic were fighting, I think. And then Mephiles basically won. But what happened was that Tails ended up seeing Mephiles, but thought it was Shadow because he only saw a silhouette. And was like...
Okay, I was about to say, if he saw him straight up, then you are all colorblind as hell.
No. He saw Sonic lying on the ground, dead or whatever, and Mephiles' silhouette, which was a little Shadow. So he was all like, oh my god, Shadow killed Sonic, and this whole beast thing got released because of it, or whatever, or because of that. I'm not sure how everyone else would have known about that. Maybe Tails told everyone it was Shadow, or maybe it's possible.
I think that's like the assumption that Tails told people.
That could have been the case. We'll have to wait to see, because he didn't make the rest of the thing yet. But, yeah, if most people were going, if Sonic 06 was going for that kind of, like, approach, and basically people who saw Mephiles, or, just thought of a super powerful being, thought of Shadow, or thought they saw Shadow, then it's like, oh my god, Shadow's the one that ended up doing this because, well, remember earlier when he was basically wiping out humanity or whatever? I mean, because we know that the world is aware of Shadow's presence and existence from his actions in Adventure 2 and in 06.
And Shadow the Hedgehog.
And Shadow the Hedgehog, and who knows, possibly even in Sonic Heroes 2, and his, basically all the games
Sonic
been
Heroes is more Shadow's incognito in that game, more likely, because of his identity crisis.
Oh, okay, I guess.
He's not, like, prominent in the world as, like, Sonic is.
So maybe just his actions in Adventure 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog. But the point is that, the world knows that Shadow is, pretty high up there in terms of power. And the fact
he's
that...
the most powerful Sonic character that's not a villain.
Yeah, that's the case. But that's a different for another day. So, I mean, given the amount of damage the world took after Iblis was awakened, it's like basically people were the only person people could think that could do something like this or release such devastation on the world would be Shadow, someone who's.
But there's a big
powerful.
plot hole with that though, because it's obviously like Iblis was released though at that point, and he was a physical form enough to where people could see him. It's like it's clearly obvious. It's like that's like a big plot. It's like you're telling me no one noticed the giant red lava monster just destroying the world? Are you kidding me? That's so stupid. That's a big plot hole to that theory though.
Well, they know it was Iblis, but it's like who released Iblis or who would have such a vendetta against the world?
Why would they blame Shadow though?
Because they know Shadow would have a vendetta against the world like that. I don't know if people.
But he doesn't have a. But Paul, at that point, Shadow has no vendetta against the world. It's established in Shadow's game.
Does the world know that?
Yeah, because Shadow saved the world at the end of his game.
True, yeah.
Do you see the and plus, Gun most likely would have cleared Shadow's name at this point, because really the world was not blaming Shadow. It was Gun, mainly the Gun Commander. You know, because even the Gun Commander subordinates was like, wait, isn't Shadow on our side though? Because, you know, heck, even the president has a picture of Shadow and Sonic in front of the White House for some reason.
It's possible.
So it's clearly obvious the world does not view Shadow as evil. That was more of the Gun Commander viewing him as evil because of the events of the arc.
I could still see like how some people still have something against Shadow anyway.
I don't see the world having an issue against Shadow personally, especially after the events of his game.
Not the whole world, but basically just, you know, some people. Like, you know how in some storylines you have.
Yeah,
like,
but that's not much of enough to convince the remaining populace to see that Shadow's evil, though.
Yeah.
Do you see the issue?
I mean, I see it, but it's like
it doesn't make sense.
You can't deny it that there are some people who then spread it out. Like, oh my god, it was Shadow that did it because he was like this, and then blah blah blah. And then people are like, oh my god, you're right. Because, you know, people who aren't there, and that's basically everyone, will be ignorant to I'm just saying that theory is just based off of what I see from other stories and other series where you have this guy who was once evil who's doing good now, but because he was once evil or was once doing
that theory needs some work. Because that's already, I'm already poking many holes in it as it is, and it's not done.
You're just saying that based off like the fact that no one's ever
I'm
said
establishing
anything.
What's canon, you know, based on I'm comparing it to the current canon. Honestly, some of it makes no sense. It's also going with the logic, like how people don't know who Superman is, even though he doesn't conceal his identity.
There's that. But anyway, that's all I was saying though. Like, I still think it's possible. I mean, that's just the whole reason why I think that some people would blame Shadow. Just, you know, just based off convenience of having.
I'm questioning how they would even be able to imprison him.
That's a feat on itself. It was something about Omega too.
Omega was shut down though.
Up after Shadow was. I mean, and it's also going off the thing that Omega himself said: when a being gets too big or too powerful, he's seen as a threat, and then the world becomes his enemy. And
that's what
Shadow is basically the most powerful person that they could think of. So, out of fear, they would basically blame him for all that stuff because, you know, most powerful person, ultimate life form, you know. That's kind of what it means to be the ultimate life form. Be the strongest, not one of the strongest. Moving on from that, though, as far as the whole time travel thing with Shadow,
try explaining that.
Okay, I'll try my best to explain it, but it'll be confusing for some people who can't really understand time travel that well or don't know quantum physics. Not that I know anything about.
And for the record, we're not going with the idea of, you know, when you time travel, you create another universe, because that was just another form of the theory in itself.
Yeah.
We're just going with the general conception that when you time travel, if you change the past, you change the future.
Yeah, because I think that's the theory that Sonic was going with. Because there are several theories that time travels that are based around time travel. One was like what Jordan stated earlier, like when you time travel, you can create another timeline. Another one is like when you go back in time and change the past, it'll alter the present and therefore the future. And then another theory is basically, this is one that I think I briefly talked about in my Call of Duty Zombies video, which may or may not have been uploaded by this point in time, I don't know. But basically, it's like an idea of a cycle, basically, and basically, at some point, if a cycle can be broken, if you do events differently from before, or change events differently from before. And if you think about it, Sonic 06 does kind of involve a cycle. I mean, it starts off with it basically starts off with Silver going back in time, and then the events of the game happen. But then,
actually, no. Technically, the events would have to be with Shadow and Silver going back in time first.
Oh yeah, you're right. When they go back in time, and basically
because they influence Iblis and Mephiles.
Yeah, because of what he was able to do, ended up
Silver saw the Duke of Soliana seal Iblis into Elise, and Shadow sealed Mephiles in this Scepter of Darkness, which prompted Mephiles to know who Shadow was.
And then basically,
shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, and then after the events of the game happened, Mephiles is around, and Iblis is released, and therefore you have the whole. Well,
during the events of the game, I mean, you said after.
Yeah, well, I mean during the events of the game. But then, one thing is that what happened in Silver's timeline, basically, what could have happened was that Mephiles, for some reason, wasn't able to.
He wasn't able to fuse with Iblis because apparently you can only fuse with him immediately, and he needed the Chaos Emeralds because he had to.
Yeah. So therefore, thus you have Silver's timeline and stuff.
And Mephiles is not fused with Iblis, even though that's stupid.
So thus that's a cycle, and what ended up breaking that was that Mephiles in the timeline that we saw ended up with the Chaos Emeralds.
Oh, I want to get on something like that. Mephiles just needed to kill Sonic in front of Elise to have Iblis get released so he can fuse with him.
Yeah.
Why did he bother sending Silver to do it? He could have just done it himself. Heck, he does it himself in the end anyway, so I feel like he went through so much effort for something that he would have just done himself anyway.
That is a powerful in itself.
And plus, he clearly proved that he could just teleport the emeralds to him anyway. As you know, several of the emeralds in the game were nowhere near him.
But back to what I was trying to say, though, for explaining how it kind of does make sense for the whole time travel thing to happen. But the theory that Sonic 06 was going with is what I believe is the whole, basically you change the past and alter
the future.
Alter the future, basically.
Speak clearly, dude.
I'm trying to, but I'm trouble.
Just speak smoothly.
But let's see how to explain this. So, the reason why I think with the theory that my friend here was wrong is because it's because when Shadow goes back in time with Silver, it's not really the Shadow that was in Prison Island at the time that went back in time. It's Shadow from the present. Well, I mean, Sonic 06 is the present. It's Silver from the present going back to the past. So at that point in time, you would have two Shadows. One that's imprisoned and frozen in Prison Island.
I'm gonna stop you for a second. With that theory I presented, it makes I'm going with the whole idea that there had to be an original event in the first place.
Yeah. Where
Shadow had to go back in time and seal Mephiles away. But here's the thing, like before, because it would have to be the Shadow that was sealed away to imprison Mephiles. Because remember, Mephiles got freed before Shadow went back in time.
Yeah, but chronologically, that was after that, though.
No, but because of the way the events worked, Shadow should have been able to, in the past, around then, go to be the most convenient, go out of his stasis to seal Mephiles, so that way, in the time of the events of the game, Mephiles would go out and know Shadow. Do you see the issue here?
Wait, what?
Because in order for these events to make sense for the original event to happen, Shadow would have had to break it out of his stasis to seal Mephiles, and then come the events of the game 10 years later, Mephiles would meet Shadow for the first time since then, but Mephiles knows Shadow because he already sealed him. Yeah, but at that point you have two Shadows, though. No, you don't, because... Yeah. No, I'm talking about the original event that would have to happen, without Shadow time traveling. Yeah, no, but that's the thing. That's why I brought the other cycle, because it's Shadow from their standpoint, it'd be but I'm talking about without time travel. But there's no point where there's no time travel. No, there has to be, because there has to be an original event that's not altered by time traveling. Do you see the thing I'm getting at here? It's part of the paradoxal effect. I could see what you're getting at, That's what I'm getting at here. There has to be that original unaltered event.
Where basically
there's no time travel intervention. That means Shadow apparently had to have somehow got out of stasis to steal Mephiles in the first place. And then the time travel cycle happens.
Okay, I think I see what you're getting at now. So basically what you're saying is because there
that
should
contributes to my thing about Sonic Shadow apparently getting out of stasis to steal Mephiles, even though that shouldn't have been possible.
There should have been a point where basically
let me go back to DBZ for example. Remember in Trunks' timeline, Goku killed King Cold and Frieza.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: how could he have killed King Cold and Frieza? Because Frieza would have been close to Goku's strength, and we don't know how strong King Cold is.
Well,
do you see where the issue is here?
No, but one can make the assumption that King Cold was no stronger than Frieza's second form. Yeah,
but Frieza was around Goku's level.
Or no, wait, didn't they say that, what's that dub error?
With King Cold's strength, we don't know how strong he is because there's so many hints saying he's either Frieza was stronger than him or King Cold was stronger than him, but there were so many interpretations that because they never established anything.
Yeah.
But the general assumption, I think either they had, because King Cold, remember when Frieza said that he was like, I'm the strongest in the universe and King Cold said nothing? I think it was either due to the fact that either King Cold legitimately agreed with that, or he was just not saying anything to have his, so he does not to hurt his son's pride and ego.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think the strongest member of his family before Resurrection of F was cooler.
I mean, that makes sense. Although, I guess you could, but one could just make the assumption that King Cold was weaker, that's why...
I know I'm saying that, but I'm just saying with the context of the timeline with the original event with Trunks before this event happened, Goku did fight and kill King Cold and, Frieza, because Vegeta was not a Super Saiyan yet at this point.
Right.
And Goku was around, did not get that much stronger after Frieza before the Android Saga. So him and Frieza were still practically the same, and plus Frieza had the mechanical enhancements.
Yeah.
But I'm going back to what I was really saying, like, your theory makes sense, it's just the issue is, it doesn't go along with what I was trying to point out, because obviously I know there'd be two Shadows at that point if it was just straight up time traveling.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the original event that would have had to happen for any of this to make sense.
Yeah. The only thing I can say about that is, like, going on the idea of a cycle, it's like, yeah, there would have to be a point for it to start.
Which kind of negates your theory a little bit.
It does. But the thing about time cycles is that, well, because it's a cycle, there's no beginning or end to it. It keeps happening over and over again.
How did it come into existence in the first place, then? Can you explain that?
Yeah, well,
there had to have been an original event.
Hey guys, I just want to make a small edit here. I did try to explain it, but as it turns out, the explanation got all weird, and the long and short of it is that I kind of failed the explanation. What my friend Jordan explained with how there had to be an original event, it poked a hole in my explanation, so yeah, let's just disregard that and just move on to the next part of the discussion.
Okay, so now let's move on to, like, the gameplay of Sonic 06.
It's bad.
Yeah, summarize that in like 10 seconds. It's bad.
Okay, let's get.
But who has the worst gameplay though? Let's get into it though.
Silver.
Amy.
Amy is only one. Okay, I'm talking about from the main characters because all the side characters, excluding Blaze, is just bad because the level's not suited around them. Because let me get to the worst nitty gritty. Which Silver's gameplay is extremely slow and horribly limiting, especially with the humongous hub world and how you have to walk to stay safe. With Shadow and Sonic, they can get there relatively quickly. Silver walks super slow as hell. His meter is so low, and like you can't glide anywhere. And honestly, the gameplay with Silver gets repetitive fast because you can only grab and throw things with his psychokinesis, but in order to grab enemies, he has to do a pimp slap until you later get an upgrade in the game. But honestly, there should be more methods to attack with Silver. Because Silver's method is getting repetitive fast. Sonic's gameplay is OP with the gems, since you know that meter. That's without. It wasn't coded properly, so it never decreases. So you could just use the gems to break the game, pretty much. Shadow's game is too strict because his methods of attacking is boring. And honestly, I wouldn't have mind with the gun gameplay returning for Shadow.
Yeah, one thing I did like with Shadow Hedgehog was some of the gameplay elements.
Even though that made a lot of controversy because of Shadow using guns.
Shadow was Sonic.
Well, his chaos powers in the game of 06 doesn't really do anything. They're not really using them anyway.
Yeah.
They're just there. His Chaos Spear and Chaos Blast suck.
Chaos Spear sucks. Yeah, well, in terms of main character gameplay, yeah, Silver does have the worst.
All the levels suck. One of the hardest levels, Crisis Core for Sonic, is annoying because of that effing Mach speed session.
Oh my god. That's why I consider Sonic having pretty much the worst gameplay though. At least with Silver there was no Mach speed. Yeah, it takes
like
forever.
Mach speed. Yeah, but what makes Crisis Core worse is that it's the second one you do and it's so early on in Sonic's story.
Yeah.
It's easily Sonic's hardest level. It's even worse than Silver's Billard puzzle. Because at least with Silver's Billard puzzle you can glitch your way through the end.
Yeah.
But with Sonic, you have to beat the Mach speed system. And honestly, when he jumps, he has no control of his momentum at all. He's pretty much in the air until he lands.
Yeah.
You have no control. He moves so fast, and it doesn't have this stuff is constantly getting flung at you. And if you get hit twice, you're dead. And since you don't lose momentum when you jump, you can easily jump off the stage into your death easily.
Yeah, that's true.
Sonic's just, and plus Sonic's slow majority of the time. They slow him down for the sake of gameplay, but that's so bad because the point of Sonic is for him to be fast. And the time when he does remember him being fast is during the Mach speed sessions, which is just plain bad because Sonic can dart around anywhere with just barely any control.
And you can start with like a whole bunch of rings from the previous part of the level, but then at some point you will get hit, and then it's
you could align yourself with the rings. I forgot the ring dash, but even then it often gets you. It often sends you straight to an object.
Pretty much, and
which is not
yeah, which is why you say that. That's why most of the time I say that Shadow has like the best gameplay out of all of them. It's still not good.
I wouldn't say best gameplay. I would say the less frustrating gameplay.
Yeah.
Because none of their gameplays are good, Paul. I mean, did you forget about Shadow's vehicles?
Yeah, no, I didn't forget. I didn't say it was good. I just said that it's just the best out of the best.
I will not say that. I will say the least infuriating one. With Silver's being easily the most infuriating. It's so fucking slow.
It's slow, but it's you can control yourself. But with Shadow, it's like, yeah, he doesn't move too fast like Sonic does in his Mach space sections, but it's not too slow like Silver does in 90% of his gameplay. It's like a mixture of the two, and the only real issue I have with Shadow is that it's too combat orientated.
Yeah, that's why Shadow gets off. Yeah, that's why I mean he's too combat oriented and it doesn't work.
Which makes sense. Which makes sense because it's like, I mean, Shadow is more battle hardy. He has more attack options than Sonic does. Like all Sonic does is just spin dash and homing attack, and sometimes
for some reason got rid of the ability to damage him by jumping on him.
Yeah, that was a thing.
And do I have to mention that they returned the health bars thing?
Yeah, that was pretty dumb. It worked pretty well in Unleashed when you're doing a...
No, Unleashed was bad. I was talking about worked in Shadow because it was the gun gameplay.
Oh, you're talking about that game. Well, yeah.
They started the health bar thing in Sonic Heroes.
Honestly, I didn't like it in either of those games. Unleashed was the only game where I found it okay because it didn't get...
Shadow Hedgehog was the only game I find the health bar thing fine because of the gun gameplay.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Unleashed sucks, but that's a different game, though. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah. Okay, it's about Sonic 06. So, I mean, yeah, that bar thing, it was, yeah.
It's just bad. I hate the fact that you get damaged when you just touch an enemy. It makes sense for the Iblis monsters because they're made of fire, but for the standard Eggman robots or anything else, you just get damaged just from touching them. Are you kidding me?
Honestly, it's like, with Shadow, I mean, I'm okay with the Chaos Snap attack that he does. The thing
oh
my
like, god! Okay, I gotta say something.
What?
Chaos Snap is so awful because it just works on randomness. It's so instantaneous that it's annoying as hell to get your bearings, and oftentimes That attack got me killed so many times.
Really?
Because it snaps me right into an enemy, and you lose all momentum. But it often attacks enemies over lava or bottomless pit, and I die.
Yeah.
Because it happens on random. You can't control that, and it's so annoying because it throws off all momentum.
So then just don't do it over lava pits then.
It happens on its own accord. It's not the fact of where it happens wherever you are. It just happens to the nearest enemy.
Yeah. Well,
and especially with Sonic, it's hard because there's this recharge period before Sonic does it again, whereas in the air games, it just happens instantaneously.
You mean Shadow?
No, I'm talking about Sonic, because when Sonic homing attacks, he has a slight pause.
Oh, you're talking about, like, oh, I know what
He has a slight pause where it goes to the next enemy, whereas in the air games, he just goes immediately to the next enemy, and that's so... It breaks the pace of the game, but with Shadow, though, the Chaos Snap is so unpredictable and random, and it often gets you in so much trouble.
Yeah. I mean, for one thing, you could just not use his Chaos abilities when he's, like...
But, Paul, the Chaos Snap happens when you,
No, like, they don't activate it, basically.
Yeah, but then again, the game will be slower then.
But I mean, if you do find yourself stuck in a situation, normally what I did was just use homing attack or something afterwards. Just press the X button until he moves again.
And then you often get flung somewhere and die.
Well, yeah, because things that they do happen in the game. But that's
then
glitches.
Again, part of it is the game's not coded properly.
Yeah, which brings me to what I really want to talk about when we start talking about the gameplay. And that's basically, people should be less harsh on it.
It's so glitchy as hell.
It is, and I do hate it.
You do remember that this game was rushed, people.
Yeah,
it was rushed. I don't care what it should be. I'm criticizing and reviewing the game for what we got, not for what it should have been.
Yes, I'm more forgiving on it because of that. Because it's like, oh well, that means we didn't get the full...
I am not forgiven if a game was horribly rushed, and we get this game's demo was better and functioned better than the final product. That says a lot.
It does.
Because I played the demo and I did not encounter any bugs personally, whereas in the final product, I encountered bugs like left and right.
I heard there are like day and night switches in the demo as well. I don't know if that was
no, because you only played one level.
Well, I mean, anyway, though. I mean, when you really think about it, people are judging the game for what they got, and I respect that opinion and all, but it's like, you're basically judging a product that could have been so much more, but because of money, basically.
But then you're just excusing it for something that they didn't do that they should have done. Like, that's the case with any game then.
Yeah.
You can't just judge it based on you can't cut it slack for what it should have been because of some varying reasons, with this case, they purposely rushed the game.
But think like
they
this.
Didn't delay it to take time to fix the issues. It's like with the Xbox 360 when they first came out, like, they knew about the Red Ring of Death, but instead of delaying it to fix the issue, they just rushed it out in time for stores to compete with the PlayStation 3, and just put an indicator that it happened instead of fixing the problem. You can't cut them slack because they knew what the issue was. And the development team of this game knew what the problems were. They knew how buggy it is, but they didn't fix them.
Yeah.
It's like you can't cut them slack because
they
knew what they were doing.
But think about it like this. If Sonic 6 did have the chance to fix its issues, go over its story one more time, and then was released...
Oh, they had plenty of chances. They just had to delay the game.
They just had to. But they didn't because of money, and they paid dearly for it.
You're just too forgiving. That's your problem.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, I still don't like what we got, and I still think that they should have done a better job on
everything. But you're cutting them too much slack for something they should have done right the first time.
I'm cutting them slack because I still ended up enjoying some of the game overall.
I did not enjoy the game.
I
did not enjoy the game at all, and I actually beat the game in S-ranked everything, got all the medals.
And you still didn't like it?
No, it was not fun.
For me, it was at least okay.
The story was awful, the gameplay was horrendous, and made me rage quit, something games rarely make me do, and I play RPGs mainly, for Christ's sakes. And this game was just not fun to play for me. I beat this game twice, don't ask me why, but I did, and it was just horrible each time, and I did not experience glitches the first time, but the second time made the game impossible for me to finish.
I experienced glitches, but I bought the game knowing after some reviews how...
I didn't.
And plus, also, I got the 360 version at the time. I own the PS3 now.
I had the PS3 version, and sadly enough, Sonic 06 was one of the first PS3 games I had.
Oh, that's.
It wasn't the first one, but one of the first few.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know anything about the game at that point. I just thought it was a Sonic game. And it was, but it wasn't a good one.
I knew how good it could be, but I got it anyway because I just wanted to. I just wanted to play the Sonic 06 game, honestly. It sounded good, and the soundtrack was so amazing. But after playing it now,
There's only 2 songs I like from 06, actually.
We'll get to that later, though. We'll get to that later.
Why? There's nothing more to say about the soundtracks.
Except for personal opinions, which we'll be getting into right about now. Okay, so now we're on our personal thoughts and opinions on the game.
I'm just gonna say this now about the soundtrack because I have nothing to say about this. It's not bad. It's actually funny thing is the infamous thing about how bad games have really good soundtrack like Sonic 06 and Mega Man X6. And if you know Brain Scratch, you know where I got that reference from. But I only like one song really that I care about, but it's not a bad soundtrack. What to say about it.
I think that of all the Sonic games that are out there, going from the first to the latest one we got now, Sonic 06 in terms of soundtrack is pretty high up there.
LF, no!
Let me explain, because this one actually, I do have evidence to back it up. Think about it like this. Crisis City, Kingdom Valley.
Kingdom Valley sucks.
The second phase of the boss fight in Solaris. Those are by far some of the best stage music themes that you can ever.
Your first and third point is the thing I agree with, but with Kingdom Valley, I got bored instantly with that song because it got majestic. Because you spend so much time in that stage for so long, and all the stories.
Okay, yes. I mean, personally, I downloaded
it's one of the longest stages, especially with Silver and Shadow, for Christ's sakes.
Because they spend so much time, so I was just like, I'm done.
With Shadow, you have Rouge go on a scavenger hunt for keys.
And that was stupid. Personally, I think Rouge is more of the...
Rouge and Knuckles get stuck on walls!
Yeah. But, I mean, ignoring the character themes, I mean, some of the stage music in Sonic 06 is some of the best I've heard in all the games. And I think it's personally on the same levels as Rooftop Run from Sonic Unleashed or Frog Forest from Sonic Heroes. Or even...
Sonic Heroes is good. I'd have no care for Sonic Unleashed at all.
But then, including the main character themes, especially one in particular, Dreams of Absolution. Oh my god! It is one of my most favorite songs of all time. 10 years it's been out by now of this recording, and it's still one of the most popular songs for the Sonic series out there. And I've seen Dreams of Absolution be used for things outside of Sonic. I've seen it been used for Kingdom Hearts. I've seen it been used for Trunks from Dragon Ball Z. And for other songs too, other characters and things too. Dreams of Absolution, and the fact that it has the most amount of remixes out of all, not all,
well,
but
remixes should be an
remixes.
Outlier because of, that's something people make, not the game developers.
But you don't remix a song that isn't good. I mean, how many remixes?
You can remix anything, and I know this because I know 3 musicians, and you can pretty much remix anything with just little effort, dude.
Yeah, that's true. But if you really think about it, it's compared to the other 2 songs.
And plus, a lot of people remix things that are bad so they can become good in the first place.
It's still compared to the other 2 main character themes that came out with it, which is His World for Sonic and All Hail Shadow for Shadow.
His World's played too many times to the point where I hated it, and All Hail Shadow is not as repetitive too, because that got overused in Shadow the Hedgehog.
It was only played one time though.
No.
It was the second time it was played?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember, I know it was twice. I know they played the I Am All Me song too many times.
Well, I mean, they haven't...
that was a good song.
It was in the intro. And
my favorite song is not in the game because they didn't get permission to put it in at the last one they used.
Too Much Shadow the Hedgehog?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one song.
Broken.
There's also another song, I think.
They already had the song ready for the game, but they didn't get permission from the band to put it in the game in time, so that's why it's in the secret soundtrack and not in the game itself.
I've heard of Who I Am.
Arguably the best song, my favorite song in that game.
I've heard of Who I Am, though. There's also a song that could have been with Shadow.
Yeah, but I didn't care for it, but I only cared for Broken.
Yeah, those are pretty good songs. But, I mean, with Dreams of Absolution, though, I mean, there's the LB...
Oh my god, I hate that song to the life of me. I
was talking about it earlier, just noticed now.
I wasn't paying attention, but I don't... Okay, loves that song. I hate that song.
He hates the song so much.
It is so repetitive to me. I don't like it at all. I don't fit. I find I only like the remix of it, but the original song though is bad.
The original song, I personally found pretty good. Like I downloaded that to my iPod. That's how much I liked it. It just fits. I just think it fits so well for one thing. I mean,
find it too techno for my taste.
It's the future, dude. What would you expect?
Not all futures techno battle, especially with Silver's case.
Have you heard Trunks' theme Battle Point Unlimited?
Yes, and I actually like that song.
That's also techno, kinda.
Yeah, but it's the good kind of techno, not the repetitive one that makes my ears bleed.
Oh my god. Lucy feel better. The 3 or 4 remixes since then don't really involve to know that much.
Well, yeah, duh, because I've seen them.
Yeah.
I've seen them actually.
Honestly, my favorite remix is like the latest one for the 2011 version of the song. I mean, it's not more rock oriented, but it follows the same tempo and beat as the original. Overall, though, Dream Evolution and just the other songs from coming out of Sonic 06, I think, are just some of the. It's just one of the best. It just, in my opinion, has one of the best like soundtracks of all Sonic games. And yeah, it is kind of funny, like how it's one of the worst Sonic games ever. But it's still, or one of the worst games ever in general.
It's one of the worst Sonic games ever. It's rivaling that with Sonic Genesis and
Sonic Lost. No, Sonic Boom Lost, whatever it was.
Well, that's just only bad because of the reboot.
But despite that, it has one of the best soundtracks. We're putting it up there with like Sonic Adventure 2's soundtrack and things like that.
I find one song putting it up with that soundtrack, not as a whole. I thought it's good for its game, but in terms of the other games comparison, no, I don't see it that way.
Yeah. As for like the rest of the game as a whole, despite how I know it sounds like I've been defending the game this whole time.
You have.
But I still think it's bad though compared to other games. Like it's not even my favorite Sonic game. My favorite Sonic game is.
You only played like once.
I played like I played the story once, but then I replayed it like a few other times.
I played the story like once.
But I mean, personally, overall though, I think Sonic 06 is just a game that could have been pretty good. Like I see where Sega was going, or Sonic Team I should say, was going with Sonic 06, and I just feel like if they remade Sonic 06, especially with the current technology we have now, and them knowing the mistakes that they made, just rectifying it, if they were to remake Sonic 06 now,
which is never gonna happen.
I know it's not gonna happen, but if they were to redo it, it would be so amazing. It'd be like one of the best. It'd be something that some people might even call Sonic Adventure 3.
No, it wouldn't, because they would try to make it more on the Sonic Boom universe, which would be bad.
Well, no, because have you seen the 2017 Sonic trailer?
I don't keep track of Sonic anymore, remember?
Well, I mean, anyway, basically, the Sonic Boom team is from Sega of America, and Sega of Japan is still making Sonic games.
I'm more interested in the Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate game.
Are you advertising, bro?
I don't need to advertise. It's like one of the biggest upcoming PS4 games.
Okay. So anyway, as I was saying, if they were to remake Sonic 06 right now, it'd just be the ultimate. And that's basically my most personal opinion on Sonic 06. It's a bad game that could have been good, and if they were to try again now, but keep the soundtrack but change everything else.
I don't know, because Sonic games have had a pretty bad rap lately with the games coming out. Sonic Unleashed is bad. Sonic Generations was the only. No, it was bad. Sonic Generations was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
The Sonic Boom games have gotten a bad rap because it tried to reboot the Sonic universe and it wasn't good at all.
Sonic Colors was okay. It was pretty good too.
Sonic Colors was kind of boring.
I thought it was okay though.
Sonic Colors and Lost World were boring. The storytelling games for the Wii were not really good in terms of gameplay, and story was kind of bland.
Well, I'll agree with Sonic Lost World.
Outside, well, what I just talked about was Sonic. But honestly, since 06, Sonic games haven't really been doing really well except for Generations.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there.
Yeah. I'm on the same boat. Like, since Sonic 06, it's been pretty bad. I mean, I know some people say that it all started with Shadow the Hedgehog, but personally, I think Shadow the Hedgehog was hate to, except for the only problem I have with Shadow the Hedgehog is just sometimes
I have problems with the story.
I just have problems with how many like endings you have to go through to get to the final ending, and the fact that when you play as Shadow, you have to skate
The fact that
across.
there's a lot last end story in Shadow the Hedgehog kind of defeats the purpose of the multiple endings in the morality system.
Exactly.
Either have a linear story with a concrete ending, or have multiple endings and I can take any ending I want as canon.
Exactly.
That's what most RPGs do right. Maybe Shin Megami Tensei.
But with Sonic 06, yeah, just it's a bad game, but it could have been good, and that's my overall personal thought and opinions on it. The soundtrack is rocking though. The soundtrack is fire. Like that is good. They had it down with the soundtrack. It was a good game. So, and
Is not the right word.
you want to say it was ass?
I was gonna say abomination.
Okay. And what's your personal overall like thoughts on Sonic 06?
I would rate it very low of a game, and this is coming from me playing it twice in a row for some reason.
Yeah.
And honestly, the game is not really good at all, and you should not try it. Even if you don't get it glitchy as I do, it is just bad in every sense of the word.
Yeah, don't buy the game. Take it from me. I actually think it was okay, but I still say don't buy the game though. Like, if you're curious about it, like I was, like I only bought the game because I was curious to see if it was as bad as everyone thought it was.
Just watch Brain Splash's playthrough or some kind of Johnny's playthrough because they make it funny.
They do. I also suggest watching basically as many videos as you can on reviews of Sonic 06. Mainly just videos on like, this is one video I forgot who it's from, but basically it's a video titled "Was Sonic 06 Really That Bad?" or basically all the good points of Sonic 06. Because if you really want a good feel of it, you'll have to see the good things it did as well as the bad things. Because to me, Sonic 06 was a game known for its bad things, and it was pretty bad. But it has its good marks too, and that's how I'm going to close the video. Sonic 06 overall, in my opinion, was an okay game, and I just recommend you judge it from after seeing its good and the bad before doing your thing. Anyway, that's all for me today. That's all. See you later, guys.